Of course, earlier this week, the South Carolina Senator Tim Scott announced that he is going to join the Republican nomination race. The field's getting pretty crowded. What do you think that's shaping up to look like?
Oh, it's not, compared to what it will be, it is not crowded at all. I mean, yes, there's a lot of people who've announced already, but yeah, I think we have a significant amount of people waiting on the sidelines. I think Tim Scott is an interesting candidate. I think he is the favorite of the Republican intelligentsia. He's he'd be a good candidate, a strong candidate, smart guy. The first black person to announce, actually the second black person to announce. And I think that, look, I don't think he's got a puncher's chance, which means, look, he's not in the top tier, but you never know. People can falter. He can have a good week. It seems like, as always, for the Republican nomination, every year there is a black candidate who ends up hitting the top 5, top 6. I think certainly he can fall in that category. And if he can hold his own, he's got a shot as much as anybody else outside DeSantis and Trump.
Well, he sounds like he might be a pretty bright guy, and those people tend to surprise us. So, getting back to this travel warning from the National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People, I mean, it seems pretty over the top. What's the evidentiary basis that they're relying on to say that it's not safe for black American people to go to Florida?
Wow. The NAACP, and frankly, even the ADL, has zero credibility with me, and this just cements it. What is their evidence? Zero evidence. Want me to give you evidence? I'll give you some evidence. How about the evidence of blue cities like Chicago, which has recently been named the murder capital of the U.S., which has more black people killed per capita than almost anywhere else in the country? How come they're not condemning Chicago? I'll tell you why. Because they don't care if black people are being killed if the people perpetrating the murders are black people. They don't care about that. They want to focus on Florida. By the way, Florida, a state that so dangerous under DeSantis, 5 of the board members of the NAACP went on vacation there under DeSantis. This is a state which they claim is erasing black history. I know, it's a parody of itself, Amanda. It's become a parody of itself. This is a state which requires black history to be taught in high schools and elementary schools. It requires education about slavery and about Jim Crow. This is a state, by the way, that has 25% more black people than the national average. And this is a state, by the way, that has had more black immigrants come to that state than almost any other state in the country. They've actually doubled their black immigration over the last 20 years. So, yeah, that's the evidence I have for you, Amanda. I guess the NAACP, looking at that, came to a different conclusion.
It's interesting because the overall crime rate in Florida is a whole lot less than in most of those Democrat states that there have not been similar travel warnings for. It's been wonderful to have you to contribute on the show tonight. Thank you very much for your insights, and we'll talk to you soon.
Always my pleasure. Thank you, Amanda.